looks like a chicken coop. But use, well, it's not like a chicken coop, it is a chicken coop. Hey guys, welcome back to the farm. The end of the last vlog we did, we were working on some chicken tractors. I had one of them about 80% done. Since then, I kind of got a head start before you guys got here. I knocked out a second one to completion, and that's going to be the one that stays on my farm. The other two are going to go to my neighbor's farm because we're going to do a couple runs of meat chickens on his place. So I'm putting these together, and we're going to haul them over there eventually. The one that was in the driveway that was 80% done, it hasn't moved since last vlog. Because it's sitting out in the sun, I didn't feel like dragging it into the barn, and I kind of wanted to start working in the shade for these other two. So we kind of left that one where it is. I built the other one to completion. It's mine. It's got a nesting box in it and a roost pole. Because I have 10 chickens out here, I have 15 more chickens in my garage and a brooder who we need to come out here probably in the next 2 weeks. So I needed more space. So what I'll end up doing is the chickens I currently have out here, they're a lot closer to laying eggs, obviously, because they are like 4 months older than the chickens I have in my brooder right now. So we're going to move them into the new chicken coop with the brooding box, and then we're going to move them into the new chicken coop with the nesting box. And then when I bring the other chicks out here, they'll go into the electrical conduit chicken tractor, I guess. So that's going to be a couple weeks in the future till I have to worry about that. And we'll do a walk around on that chicken coop a little bit later. But right now, we need to get this third one started. We got a rectangle frame, 8 foot wide, 12 foot long. Over here, we have 3 cattle panels overlap. And then this will be where they arch to get our 8 foot wide arch. And they're overlapped and tied together. And then we take our chicken wire or chicken netting, and we set it down and roll it down one side, secure the chicken netting down, go to the other side and roll it out. Do your 2 outsides first, and then you bring your netting to the middle and roll the middle out, and then you know what you can overlap on each side. Because this chicken netting is only supposed to be 48 inches wide, so 12 divided by 4 is 3. So there should be no overlap. But this chicken netting stretches pretty well. So after we get them all rolled out, and I find this to be the easiest, is having these panels laid on the ground and secured to each other and then rolling the net over it, especially for a one-guy operation. Because now all I have to do is take that excavator with that ratchet strap hook, grab it right in the middle, which is probably going to be about right here, and pick it up. It'll flop into the arch that we want, and then we'll just swing it over, slide that frame underneath it, and start securing the sides. All right, so we got our hoop secured at the bottom on the runners. So now it's time to start framing out where our door is going to be. And I'm going to frame both sides the same. So we'll have about a 32-inch opening on this side, and then the same structure will be on the back side. All right, this side's done. We're gonna move the other side. Some things that I like to do is put these uprights perpendicular to the bottom board there, and then put these are at a 45 on the side here, and that really makes everything very rigid. And what we're doing on the back side, we can hang a 2x12 the length of this thing, and that way we can hang our feeders and waters down this side of it as opposed. We could do it in the middle as well. I just don't want to walk in the door and walk straight into a feeder or water. Got both sides framed up. Here's that middle board I was talking about where the two pieces of chicken wire will come together. And we're going to use, I think they're called furring strips. Essentially, you'll just hang the chicken wire on there, and then we're going to take these thin pieces of wood that were scrap leftovers from some parts of the barn for these furring strips. And what we end up doing is sandwiching the chicken wire between that strip and then this 2x4. So instead of just being like a staple here, staple here, staple here, for one, I don't have staples, and the goal of this is to do it as cheaply as possible, but without like making a subpar product. So that's why I didn't, this stuff was all like from a discount lumber yard, all this wood, and it's not the best wood. It's a lot of like cull wood. A lot of it has like knots and splits in it, but it's going to spend its life, you know, keeping chickens in and raccoons out, which it can do. Now, these bottom boards here could have and probably should have been pressure treated. But what I'm going to do is I've got pressure treated scraps from the barn build as well. And I'm going to build like these little 2-foot long skids and just put them at the corners. So, and then it'll essentially raise these bottom runners up off the ground like just an inch. So it won't be in ground contact anymore. And I think it's going to help preserve these bottom runners. And then also it will help keep these middle boards, because when I drug the one out in the field earlier today, you can see the path where I drug it, and it's a little more flat than it used to be, because as I was dragging these cross braces here, were just like leveling the ground and grabbing all the high spots. So what I want to do is use that pressure treated lumber, 24 inches here, 24 inches there, and then same on the other side. You know, put like some sort of angle on each one of them. And so then that'll be the only thing that touches the ground, unless there's a variance larger than an inch in the ground, like in the pasture when you're pulling it. But, I mean, you can't just have everything. You can't run chickens on a golf course. I guess you could, but we're not out here. So the next part is the least fun and most time-consuming part of this whole project, and that's getting this chicken wire hung on the sides by yourself, or by myself. It's definitely like a 2-person job, so, you know, one person could hold it up while I unroll it and then secure it. But when I'm here by myself, you've got to like temporarily secure it up at the top and then, or bottom, or what, you know, whatever you're gonna do. You can figure out the best method. I'm gonna try and leave the roll on the ground and then just unroll it and lift it. The problem is when I did the one that, earlier this morning, I was at the end of the roll, which it gets really tight and it doesn't want to unroll itself. It wants to keep that rolled shape. So that was probably a little more difficult than this one's gonna be. But we're gonna put the roll on the ground here and then just try and stretch the fence, or unroll the fence up to the top. I wasn't paying attention. I knocked over my tub of screws, my jar of screws. When I build something and I take it apart, I always try and save my screws. So these are like second, third, or fourth hand screws. But they're great for projects like this. strap her down.